between those two buildings if you need to. I'd like to start out with Mike Neerman giving the Pledge of Allegiance.
Thanks, Greg. Hey, I want to give a shout out to Brad over there. He's running the PA system. He's doing a great job today. Hey, Brad. Hey, Brad. Everybody, please take your hats off and let's join me in the Pledge of Allegiance here. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thanks, Greg.
Also, they're over here at this booth. There are door prize tickets for sale. After the event, or at the middle of the event, we'll be giving them away. There will be 3 pairs of pink underwear given away. There will be a book written and signed by Sheriff Arpaio. 4 Sheriff Arpaio personal coins. Book number 2. And then finally a dinner with out at our house this evening with Sheriff Arpaio. So if you'd like to be in the drawing, make sure you get a ticket. Bill Currier, ORP Chairman. Give Bill a hand.
Thank you for coming out. This is a great event. We are excited to sponsor this. We're excited that you've shown up. The weather turned out better than we thought it would, and it's not such direct sunlight. And you came to show your support, to show your patriotism. We're going to work on reviving that here in Oregon. The Republican Party is off in a better direction, and thank you for sending this event. Now, in regard to the environment that we find ourselves in, we need to be loud. We can be loud too. So it's nice to be loud, and it's nice to understand that we aren't against anything. We're for following the law. I have the distinct pleasure and honor of introducing Sheriff Arpaio from Arizona, Maricopa County. Most of you are probably familiar with his story. 55 years in law enforcement, repeatedly re-elected by his 4 million constituents in the 3rd largest county in the U.S. This is not a small responsibility, and the voters chose to bring him back time after time and it's because he pursued creative and cost-effective ways to not only enforce the law, but make sure that the county was safer as a result of proper law enforcement coverage. You're all probably also familiar with some of his struggles. He has not gone unattacked, and that sometimes happens when you stand up for the right. We know all about that. Sheriff Arpaio spoke with some of us earlier today and gave us a great understanding of some of the work that he's done. I'm not going to spend a lot more time introducing. I would like to have you join me in a great big welcome for Sheriff Arpaio.
Thank you, Bill. Thanks for inviting me to this cool day. Where I'm from, this is like Alaska, so thank you for that. And I see a lot of my fans across the street. I don't know if they can hear me, but that's okay.
I hear you.
But if they can, after I'm done here, I'd like to go say hello to them. I'm an equal opportunity guy. I believe in the First Amendment, free speech. So I want to thank them for coming here. I don't know how they got here, but that's not the point. A sheriff, but remember, the sheriff constitutionally is the chief law enforcement officer for the county, and I take that very serious. In my 55 years of law enforcement, I've been the sheriff out of that going on 23 years, so it's an honor to serve the people of Maricopa County. A lot of things that we do does dovetail into national interests. For example, like the immigration problem that we have, and it's still there. And I have a special background because I know most of these people across the street probably never lived in Mexico. Maybe they have, I don't know. But I lived in Mexico City for 4 years. I was the top federal regional director in Mexico City, South America. Also, I was head of the federal drug enforcement in Texas and Arizona, so I happen to know where the border is. And 23 years as sheriff, we're only 70 miles from the border. I remember when I was a young federal narcotic agent in Chicago, 1957, at that time we still had the problem of drugs coming into the United States to Chicago and so on. So I do know immigration is important, but there's another issue that's very important, is the drug problem. The drugs coming into your state, I'm not going to talk about marijuana because I guess you make it here anyway and sell it, but I will talk about heroin, methamphetamine, those tough drugs that come here through the border. So to me, that's a big issue too. Immigration is an economic problem. It's a law enforcement problem, political problem, big time, diplomatic problem. So there's a lot of issues when you look at the immigration, illegal immigration. Let's make sure illegal immigration problem is facing our nation. I'm a little disappointed that the Washington and Congress really haven't taken hold of this to do something about it other than talk. And I'm hoping that the next administration, Republican of course, will do something about it. Now I am suing the President of the United States. And that's in Washington, D.C. right now. Larry Klayman, you probably heard of him. He's a lawyer that took this on free. So we are in D.C. We're at the appellate court, and because of the executive order, but I'm more concerned how it affects me and the people of Maricopa County and the people of this country. Now, I did a survey in our jails. We average 8,000, 9,000 people a day. So I took a test out of everybody in the jail that are booked there for crimes, state crimes, how many are in this country illegally? Illegally in this country. What do you got, a couple of my fans out here? So, that's normal. So, freedom of speech, right? So anyway, where was I? White House, President, jails. We checked 5,000 people that were turned over to ICE in the Maricopa County jails. 36% have come back to the same jails. They should have been deported. So that's my interest, where the government evidently are letting these people out in the back door, or if you think the border is unsecure, one guy came back 25 times. So you're trying to tell me that the guy went to Mexico, came back 25 times? No, they're letting them out the streets. So I think something has to be done. I think I wrote 5 letters to the Homeland Security. You get a bureaucratic answer. But they have to answer that. They have to answer why. I remember in California, they killed 2 deputies. The guy that killed the 2 deputies served time in my jail in 1996, and he was here illegally. I can go on and on and on to show the types of crimes that have been committed by illegal aliens that should be out of this country, but they're here for many different other, reasons. I'm not saying that all illegal immigrants are committing crimes. That's not the point. But at least that group would not be here to commit the crime. So it's a broken system. Something has to be done other than talk all the time. Decisions have to be made. I have my idea how to do it, but nobody will listen to me. Well, you guys, I'm talking about certain politicians and the media, but you know what? Thank God for you people, because you keep this stimulated. You keep the politicians in tow, I think. You try. You're a big voice. Big voice. And one of the secrets why I keep getting reelected, regardless of all those people over there and the Department of Justice after me, everybody's after this sheriff, but I always survive. And I'll tell you what my secret weapon is. You are my secret weapon. Well, you're my secret weapon on giving me support. At least you keep my morale up. You can't vote for me, but the people of Maricopa County keep re-electing me because I tell them over and over, I serve them. I don't report to any governor, president, police chief. I report directly to the people of Maricopa County, and that's what the sheriff does, an elected sheriff. So that's my secret weapon, to overshadow everybody else that's going after this sheriff. And I'm going to continue to be reelected. If they think that they're going to drive me out, I got news for them. Got news for them. Now, they know my age, if they can read. So they're thinking, this sheriff, let's get rid of him. Not through the voting process, because of his age. When you're 83 like I am, they're figuring, yeah, we put enough pressure on this guy, he'll say goodbye. But I'm not saying goodbye, and I'm giving a message to certain people out there. They'll be running this thing to Maricopa County, I know that. And I want to meet with them after they got the guts to talk to me. Now, we talk about guns. I know that you really believe and fight for the Second Amendment. I know that you want to keep that going, the concealed weapons permit. Of course, we're a step ahead of you in Arizona. Anybody can carry a concealed weapon. You don't have to go check in or anything else. That's what you should be pushing for, too. Concealed weapon, just go carry it. People say guns, every time there's a tragedy, unfortunately, but it's always the guns. The guns, the old saying, guns don't kill, people kill. What they ought to do is tack on a few years for anybody that violates the law that does it with a weapon. Give them 10 more years in jail. Maybe that will help out. But don't take the guns away from law-abiding citizens just because someone uses a gun to kill someone. Blame the person that's killing, not the gun. If you think you can't find guns anywhere, baloney. I was look at New York, Chicago. They got these tough gun laws there than anywhere else in the country. So fight for your guns, fight for the Second Amendment. And the First Amendment, hey, that's okay. Freedom of speech, you agree to that. I know I just celebrated my birthday June 14th, Flag Day. And I see the flags, but I didn't see much celebrating for the flag, our own flag, Flag Day, June 14th. Of course, that's a big issue now down south, flags. Everybody's getting rid of flags and everything else. I'm not going to get into that, but I kind of look at it. I wish we get the same attention for our flag. Not that that isn't the flag going back in history, but at least the people talking about the flag. Also, it's the anniversary of the U.S. Army. Oh, we got an Army guy here. So I joined the Army when the Korean War broke out. I was 10 years old. You know how that goes. But so that's the anniversary. You got Flag Day, U.S. Army anniversary, my birthday. So I decided to go to the jail voluntarily and celebrate Flag Day with the veterans. I put all the veterans in a separate area. Unfortunately, they're there for violating certain laws, but at least I want to do what I can to help them. So we put them in a certain area, paint walls red, white, and blue, all the different military insignias. It's great. So I spent my birthday and Flag Day in Army with the veterans. And we have to defend and protect our veterans. So, not just talk about it. Now, I wasn't here during the Vietnam War. I was in the hills of Turkey fighting dope peddlers. But I hear so many stories how they treated the Vietnam veterans that came home. And that is a disgrace, the way this country treated the... Are you a Vietnam veteran?
Yes.
Am I wrong? Tell me if I'm wrong. How they treated you guys when you came home. Spitted on you and everything. Am I right? That's an insult. And we shouldn't forget that. Should never forget what they did to our veterans. So take care of those veterans. Also, we have law enforcement, and I don't like what's happening across the country against the law enforcement. And I'm a little concerned about the president's involvement in state and local laws, and the Department of Justice, Civil Rights Division, getting involved in a lot of this, including the president. The president has enough problems to worry about without getting involved in local and state law enforcement. So I just got a gut feeling with all the grants he's giving, and that he may like a national police force. That's one thing you never want to agree to. You don't want a national police department, but that's what it looks like is coming, but we got to stop that. So these are problems that we have. Sometimes I do things that may be a little controversial, but I didn't run for sheriff 25 years ago to take a car home at night. In fact, I'm talking to your sheriffs around here. They make more money than I do. Hey, good. They deserve it.
Please move up here to Oregon.
I don't know. Just too much pot roaming around. So, yeah, I fought the drug problem my whole life, all over the world. I never thought that marijuana would ever be legalized. Never in my life did I think that would happen, but it's probably going to happen. But that's your problem, not my problem. But it is a national problem, because once marijuana, then what's next? So I can't hear somebody saying nice things about me. So you're very important, very important. And I remember the Tea Party, 200 of them came to see me a couple years ago. Sheriff, you're the elected sheriff. We want you to investigate the President of the United States, the birth certificate. So I listen to this. My constituents are asking me to do something. You know, I'm not going to say I'm the smartest guy around, but I've been around a lot of years in the feds. I can go on and on. So I'm not that stupid to say, you know, get out of here, and then when they leave, dump it in the wastebasket. Well, I am stupid because I didn't do that. But then I remember, wait a minute, they're asking me to do something, so I'm going to do it. So I did it. I used my volunteer posse. I have 1,500 posse. I have 600 with armed. In fact, tomorrow morning they're going back to the black churches. Some ministers asked me to protect them. So I got my armed posse in front of the 60 black churches. Of course, I'm taking heat on that too. You know, why would you have a racist go out and protect the African American? First of all, I'm not a racist. Number two, that's my job, to help the people, no matter who they are or whatever. So I used the posse to go out to investigate the president. And once again, I've been around a long time. They're cheering me on that one. So I'm nothing against the president. I'm just looking at a fraudulent document, that's all. You know, I don't really care where he came from. I want to know if we have a forged birth certificate. That's all I want to know. And I know. I can't get anybody to look at it. Nobody will do anything about it. But it's not over yet. But I leave that, I say that as an example, that sometimes you take on controversial subjects, but you have to take chances sometimes. Just like you're taking chances. I know you're out there campaigning. You know, you got all these guys over that side. They probably don't like you. That's okay. You're not going to worry about them. You're going to do what you feel is right for our country. That's all. Very simple. Very simple. It's the way I feel. I'm 83 years old. How many more years do I have to go? But I'm not going to surrender. I guarantee you on that. I could have been the governor. Yes, I'm not bragging. I don't make that much money. I know the day I leave, the media won't, since they call me a publicity hound. So why do I keep doing that? So I look in the mirror. I have a wife of 58 years, and she supports it. So, you know, I have grandkids. I never see my wife. But why do I do it? So you're probably asking me that question in your mind, and I ask myself the question. So, boy, they even pronounce the name right. You know, I'm an egotistical guy. This is pretty good out here. So the reason I do it, my mother and father came here from Italy. I got that Italian blood in me, and I grew up, you know, the hard way. But I worked hard, and one thing you never do, sometimes when you're involved in change, you make enemies. You make enemies. So what do you do when you have an enemy? Do you surrender? No. So I don't surrender. That's the only thing that keeps me going. If all those people out there said, "We love you, Sheriff. Thank you for everything you've done in your 55 years. And here's a around the world cruise ticket for your gift," I might decide to leave. Hey, jeez. What am I fighting? But that's not going to happen. Not going to happen. And as I say, the strength I have, other than my wife, is the people. If I was a chief of police, well, I would have been fired the day I took office. But being an elected sheriff is important. Now, there's some pink underwear floating around here. So everybody's saying, Sheriff, what's the pink underwear? Well, I have a reason for that. The official reason, they were stealing the white underwear out of the jail and selling the underwear on the black market. They weren't even washed and they were selling it. So I had an idea, because when you check out, you see all this underwear, it's all white. So if you dye it pink, we know it's ours. So now everybody, we start selling the underwear to give the money to the kids, the Youth Assistance Foundation. So everybody loves the underwear now. But it's for a good cause. Good cause. That's the pink underwear. Now, the tent city is hot in Phoenix. It was 115 last week, every day. 115. You think this is like Alaska, right? So, 115 outside. I put those tents up August 3, 1993. When I ran, I said, I'm going to put Korean War tents up. We went, we got 70 tents from New Mexico, brought it to Mexico, to our county, had free land next to the dump, the dog pound, and the waste disposal plant. That's where the tents are. Room for 2,000 inmates. And they're still there. I've had 4 presidential candidates, 4, visit me in the tents. Remember Senator Dole? Phil Graham of Texas, Governor Wilson of California, McCain, they all came to the tents. Not at the same time. Standing next to me, if I'm the president, I'm going to put tents up across the nation. They all lost. Nobody ever wins when they stand next to me in the tents. I'm trying to get Hillary down here. If you know Hillary, please, will you get her to visit me in the tent? Great program. 135 degrees last week in the tents. I publicized it. I always publicize everything. 135 degrees? You guys worry about 88 degrees. But they're all convicted, doing their time. And you know how I shut everybody up? Very simple. Our men and women fighting for our country, living in tents, and you're complaining about these convicted inmates living in tents. And they all shut up. They can't answer that. The what? Walk them there? I'm going to walk them to the tent. Tell them to use the bus they came here with. So there's a lot of things you can do as the elected sheriff for our country. And it is the greatest country in the world. I don't care about, I was in the hills of Turkey with my other career, Mexico. I can go on. Every time I came home, I kissed the earth. United States. So don't get too, you got to fight for what's right, but still remember, this is the greatest country in the world. And people internally and externally want to destroy this country. And we have to be on alert and not ever allow that to happen. So I'm very comfortable. I'm comfortable because I know the people, the good people of this country, they're going to fight and we're going to survive. So don't fight hard, but don't think that things won't straighten out. It will straighten out. Always does. As I say, there's cycles going. There's always a cycle. And that's it. Anybody have any questions? I Yeah, 2 minutes.
2 minutes.
2 minutes. Every minute counts in my life. Anybody want to hit me with a question?
What do you think about the CIA bringing in drugs and the ATF arming the cartels in Mexico with the Fast and Furious program?
Is that one question? Lump it all together. So, but you got some good points that I won't discuss about the drug traffic. So, yeah. Oh, really? Okay, we're back to pink underwear. He has a question, how it goes to kids. Every penny that is raised goes to the kids. Those kids for the sports, I can go on and on. That's what happened. I spent a lot of time signing the underwear because people get a little more, give a little more money. It doesn't go to me as a 501c, but I do that to help to people out of jail and that type of thing. So that answer your question? Yeah, awesome. So anyway, I know you got other things to do. What? The what? Stop the Hispanic people? No, I'm an equal opportunity guy. I stop everybody. It has nothing to do with what race they are. So don't go listen to this racist and everything else they put out in the media.
Obama, media.
Well, I'm not going to go that way, but that's another problem. Yes. Did you hear that? No. The what? No, we have a youth assistance foundation made up of a lot of different kids that need help, sports, and we have an Explorer program, a lot of things. Also, I'm very tough on animals. I arrest anybody that messes with an animal, throw them in jail. But that's the money that we raise to go to help the kids. We call it the youth assistance. No, we have a way to go to the foundation. We'll talk to you. Dye the underwear? Here?
Thank you.